health insurance really just to help them cover the high cost of medical care. Without it, even a simple doctor visit or a short hospital stay can be expensive. Things like, more serious illnesses can really break the bank for people. So, health insurance will cover things like doctor visits, checkups, preventative services. But then it also helps for anything catastrophic, big financial shocks if something happens, like major illnesses, heart attack, cancer. So that's the main reason to insure you against something catastrophic. Short answer, yes. There usually is a minimum number of employees needed. The specific number can vary by provider or by state laws, but the rule of thumb is at least 2 full-time employees to qualify for a group health plan. The caveat there is that these employees, they both can't be family members in many cases. At least one of them must be a non-owner, must be a W-2 employee who isn't related to the business owner. There are some states and plans that may offer options for sole proprietors or one-person groups, but those are limited and harder to find. It's a good question because that happens a lot. It's very common for small family farms. So if the farm's operated only by family members, even if it's an official business, most companies will not consider that for a group health plan. There are some, but most won't. So they could be a group if they were willing to have one person who's not a family member be a W-2 employee, then they would qualify for small group health insurance. The other trick is meeting the insurer's minimum participation requirements with that small group. So typically for most family farms where they don't have a common law employee, if you can't find a carrier who's willing to write that, it does fall into the individual market where each employee gets their own plan. So that's one of the perks about group coverage. If you currently are a small business or large business owner and you don't have a group insurance plan in place right now, you can put a group insurance plan in place at any time of the year. There's no set open enrollment for group like there is for individual. So if you're thinking about offering something to employees, it's a good time to plan ahead by gathering employee information and comparing quotes, but you can 12 months out of the year, you can start a group plan. Together. Yep, we
Mhm.
would need a census, which is really just everybody, all the employees who are eligible, an eligible employee, um, which is typically 30 hours or more, working 30 or more hours or more on the farm. Um, So any eligible employees, if they want to offer that plan to any dependents, we would need the dependent information for those eligible employees, zip codes, date of birth, um, male, female, tobacco users or not. And then we'd also need to know information about the farm. Where's it located? Um, and how long has it been in business? Things like that, some general business information. There is. Now when the group sets up the plan, the group sets up their waiting period, right? So it really depends on how the owner, the group, the dairy, the farm wants to set up that waiting period. Some people have no waiting period. They skip it altogether. It helps attract new employees. But most common waiting periods are typically the first of the month after 30 days, the first of the month after 60 days. You cannot, though, per the Affordable Care Act, you cannot go past 90 days for a waiting period. It must be before that. A qualifying life event is a major life change that allows someone to either enroll in, drop, or change their health insurance outside of the usual enrollment period. Most common are getting married, getting divorced, having a baby. Those are the typical ones, but you can also, the death of someone who was on the plan with you would be one. If you move to another zip code or another county, that is a qualifying life event. If you lose coverage, say, I have health insurance at my job and my husband is offered insurance at his job but chooses not to take it. I lose my job, I lose the coverage. That's a qualifying life event for him and I to now join that group plan, that his group's plan. Um, so that's usually one that we see a fair amount of. And then turning 26, aging off a parent's plan, that's another life change. If you are on your parents' plan and working for someone who offers insurance, that allows you to join that group plan with them. There's usually a 30-day window to make that change. Once it happens, you have 30 days to join the new group's plan. So there's a lot of reasons that would allow you to jump on a group plan.
Sure.
For farm business owners, picking a health insurance means, balancing cost, flexibility, what's your budget, what coverage do you want? So that's the first thing you want to do is assess your needs and how many employees do you have? How many full-time employees do you have? Are they mostly family or do you have that one non-family worker that can help you? What's your monthly budget? Then you want to work at comparing options and using a broker or an advisor who knows small ag business can help you with that comparison. Brokers don't cost you anything. We don't charge it. Usually we don't charge a fee. They're paid by the insurance company. So it's does you no harm to ask for a broker's help on that. Um, because the broker can then shop for you. They can look for various options once we have all of your information. The broker can look through various options through the carriers. They can check your networks for you, what coverages you have, doctors, um, look to make sure prescription drug coverage is covered. The other the other key that you want to remember as any business is that offering any contribution you make for an employee premium and offering health insurance yourself is a tax deduction for your farm business. So you want to add that into your calculations on budget and affordability.
Mm.
There's lots of questions you want to ask. With the carriers, once you get a quote in front of you, and you see a plan that you like, you want to make sure that you understand what the employee premium is per employee. What are those deductibles and co-pays and out-of-pocket limits? What do they mean per procedure, per coverage line? What is an ER fee? How does that get paid for through my plan? There's different plan tiers. There's, bronze, silver, gold, platinum. Which plan works for you as far as cost wise and deductibles and out-of-pocket limits? You'll want to know, are prescription drugs covered and which drugs are covered, especially if there's a specific need that you have for a specific drug that someone is taking. Are they covered and how much will they cost in that plan? And then the other big question is, as I referenced before, the networks, your doctors, are they going to be in the network? Um, Telehealth is another piece that farms and ag businesses might want to look at. Do we have telehealth on our plan? Because that's a great tool to help offset, a doctor's visit that might be an ear infection or something small that they don't have to leave work for and come back. They can do telehealth and it saves everybody some time there. So is telehealth included? Um, and then once you get down to the nitty-gritty is what are the number of employees that we need to qualify for a health plan? How many people need to enroll? And that's probably the hardest part is getting that participation with some small businesses. Our advice is the best thing to do is to call and ask your doctor, do you take this carrier? Do you take this insurance plan? Your broker can also help you with that. It's key to remember that not everything is up to date on the carrier websites. So a doctor or hospital may be listed and it may not be completely updated, or they may not be listed because the site is not completely updated. So the best course of action is to just pick up the phone and check with your doctor before you choose a plan. Um, and make sure that you have the network that's going to also, rural cover you in the rural area, but then should you need specialty care, cover you in the more metro area where the specialists, where those specialty hospitals are. You want to kind of make sure that you have both coverages. If not, you want to make sure that there's some type of compensation for out-of-network coverage. Sometimes in-network coverage covers a great deal more than out-of-network coverage does. So your doctor may be out of network, still covered, but it's going to cost you more if you go to them. So
Mhm.
those are the key things that you want to look at. We've been in the insurance business for a long time, 50 plus years. We are an insurance agency that was formulated by dairy farmers for dairy farmers and extended to all agriculture needs. So typically the people that we have on staff with us, the people that are working with us understand ag, understand how ag businesses work, the little nuances of being a dairy farm or a crop farmer versus an industrial plant, or a car dealership. So we understand those things, on the PNC side, on the commercial side, our agents understand what kind of coverages you might need for your commercial package, what maximums you would need, what buildings need to be covered. And then on the health and ancillary side, we just know health insurance.